From Goodman Diamond on the campus of the University of Wisconsin in Madison, welcome to the 48th Annual WIAA State Softball Championships. Time for the Division III final. The number 3 seed, the Prescott Cardinals, against the number 4 seed, Laconia Spartans. Hi, everybody. Great to have you on board. Along with Sydney Supley, I'm Jay Wilson, and people at home are going, hey, I know her. 2019, she pitched Oshkosh North to the state championship. You know what it's like to be on that field. What is it like?
There is nothing more special because you're playing for your team, but what I love about high school sports, you're playing for your city. And both of these teams here today have huge fan bases who are just fired up, ready to watch their athletes compete.
Again, it's Prescott and Laconia. Let's look at Sydney's keys to the game. Sponsored by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs.
You have Stewart versus Maurer, two aces in the circle. They're going against very strong offenses. Laconia, they average around 7 runs a game, and then Prescott right around that 6.
Ready to go at Goodman Diamond. Division III final. Laconia Spartans, Prescott Cardinals. Here are your starting lineups, brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance Company. Premiums paid here. Stay here to keep Wisconsin strong. Here's the Laconia batting order.
I mean, you look at the Maurer matchup between the sisters, two of the best hitters on the team, and Aubrey hitting over 500 with 7 home runs. That's a player that I'm really excited to watch on a big stage today.
Here's the Spartans leadoff hitter, Emma Bone, and the shortstop takes the first pitch for ball 1. Our home plate umpires from Lake Mills, Todd Jans. First base umpire, Pat Latour from Appleton. And the third base umpire is Brent Miller. He is from Milton. We will see Milton in the Division I championship later tonight. In the circle for Laconia is Ella Stewart. She's had an interesting year and an interesting career at Prescott.
Somebody who is just worked her way up. I mean, I love, we were talking to Coach earlier, the fact that last year as a junior, she didn't care being on JV. She was just so excited to get those reps. She sat behind an ace for 3 years, and now in her moment, she has just shined.
Bone takes a ball, 2-1.
What I think is already interesting about Bone, and I'm curious to see if the rest of the lineup is going to stay at the front of the box. I mean, she is right up, as high as up in the box as you can get.
2-1 coming, lifted in the air. The shortstop, Caden Hillebrand, gets it, first out. 1 up, 1 down to the Laconia first.
We were talking about before first pitch, you could feel the excitement from players, and it's so big in these moments to want to feel so anxious, want to get the hit right away, and it's going to come down to which hitters can really settle into the box, watch a few pitches, and not try to make anything bigger than what this moment is.
Again, Sydney, you were there. You won the title in 2019. Is every player different in that aspect?
Absolutely. Every player has to learn what works for them and staying so committed to your routine.
Another pop up to short, and Hillebrand has that one. 2 up, 2 down for Laconia. What was your routine? Deep breaths?
Yeah, deep breaths for sure, but I love to have fun with my team before the games, and I think that's what I loved when we talked to Coach Johnson about Prescott. He said they were still singing on the bus. It was like any other game, and when you keep it loose and free, that's when you're able to play your best softball.
Kendall Pleim had that last pop out to short. Now here comes Addie Maurer, the Laconia pitcher. This one's in the air too, foul territory, enough room, nope, hit the netting. So French's catch will not count, and it's a strike against Addie Maurer. These two teams had unbelievable semifinal games. Laconia had a 3-2 come-from-behind win against previously undefeated Mishicot. They rallied for 3 runs in the top of the 7th. Mishicot led the tying run at 3rd when the game ended. There's a ball. And Prescott in their semifinal scored 3 in the top of the 7th to break a 1-1 tie and win 4-1 over Broadhead.
So both of these coaches talked about. It's going to take all 21 outs today. You saw a lot of craziness happen in the 7th inning for both of these teams. So the game's not over until the final out.
Here comes Stewart. That one's fouled off the umpire, Todd Jans, and everybody's okay. So count goes 1-2 to the Laconia pitcher.
What Stewart is doing such a great job already is establishing the top half of the strike zone. Her rise, her go-to, and that's already forcing a lot of pop-ups in the first 2 batters.
First 2 batters retired on pop-outs to short. And it goes through the legs that time of the shortstop Hillebrand and into left. So the Spartans will have their first base runner.
good things happen when you put the ball in play, down and hard. That's a rise ball. Who's able to get in the top half of the ball. Anytime you hit the ball that hard, you're allowing yourself an opportunity to find a way on base.
Hot shot ruled an error by Hillenbrand, so Addie Maurer. Oh, we have a pinch runner, excuse me. That's Allison Wersinski, number 43. There you see Allison. She'll run for Addie Maurer. And here comes Maurer, number 2, Aubrey. First pitch to her is a swinging strike. Oh, the Mauers are all over this Laconia team. Her dad, Neil, is Laconia's pitching coach. So he and Addie have had a few discussions through the years, I guess.
And we heard from Coach Johnson that there was even a little bit of shaking off yesterday, which that's what I love.
Oh, there was a big shake-off yesterday. And I believe the person that was at the plate hit it really far after the shake-off. So.
As a pitcher, though, you always want to be confident in every single pitch you're going to throw. And even if you're burned, my pitching coach would always say, I'd rather have you shake me off and go into what you're confident, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to work out well for you.
Wersinski, the runner at first. This is off the end of the bat. That'll go over the head of the shortstop and into left field. Base hit. Station as Wersinski, the runner, gets to second on the single by Aubrey Maurer. Well placed.
The ball in the outer half, almost half a ball off the plate, still able to get just enough of the barrel to bloop it in for a single. We've already seen 4 Laconia batters have really quality at bats. They're putting the ball in play. No swings and misses so far.
Here comes Callista Vanderberg, the first baseman today for Laconia. Pitch rides high from Stewart for ball 1. She has lots of state tournament experience. She was a member of Laconia's state championship girls basketball team this year. One of the senior captains for head coach Scott Ritzma. 1 ball to count. Floats in for strike 1, 1-1.
It's a great adjustment by Stewart in the circle. Her rise ball on the pitch before was just a little bit up. She was too far back in her weight, but is able to correct herself and get that rise ball breaking through the zone.
Foul. You're a great pitcher at Oshkosh North. You're a great pitcher at Northwestern. So when you watch a game, you just watch the pitcher? Is that all you do?
It's very easy to, let me tell you, but I have to fight for watching the other positions and really getting the full glimpse of the game. And I felt that way even as a hitter sometimes. I was like, I have to stop watching the pitcher so much.
Okay, here comes the next one for Vanderberg. Hot shot foul outside the third. 1-2. This is Laconia's 6th trip to the state softball tournament, their first since 2017. They made the state championship game in each of their first 5 appearances. In fact, they made 4 straight appearances here, 2014 to 2017, and won 3 straight titles in 15, 16, and 17. And boy, those 16 and 17 teams, those were undefeated seasons for Laconia.
And talking to Coach Ritzma, he just said this team reminds him of the 2016 group so much and how special that chemistry is. And I'll always take chemistry even over talent. I think that's what builds championship teams.
That one misses, so the count evens 2-2. Yeah, there's some truth in that. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're out taking a different car to go home, that's not always the way it works. 2-2. Swinging, strike 3. Well, Laconia gets a couple of base runners, but they're stranded. Half inning complete. Laconia nothing. Prescott coming up. Now a word from your local station. This is your WIAA network station. Laconia strands 2 in the top of the first, and here comes Prescott for the first time. Here are your starting lineups, brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance Company. Premiums paid here, stay here to keep Wisconsin strong. There's the Prescott batting order.
We talked to Coach Johnson early about Zulsdorf, and what I'd love to see, she keeps saying, I'm made for this moment. You'll see her in the 2-hole. When she comes up, she swings a big, confident bat.
Casey Sterrod is the first hitter for Prescott. She's their center fielder. Prescott comes in with a record of 20-8. Laconia 21-8. Kelsey Sterrod, second team all-conference in the middle border this year. Fouls that one back and quickly 0-2.
And both of these programs have such amazing storylines this season. While they weren't coming in as the 1 and 2 seed, they had to fight and claw their way, not only to get to the state title, but then when they got here in the semifinals, just to be standing here on the championship game day.
Good take there by Sterrod as she thought about the swing, but held up and it went high for ball one.
It's going to be so important for both offenses when you have pitchers who throw predominantly rise balls to really set your ceiling and force yourself to be able to take those pitches.
This one's looped to the right field line, and that's a nice running catch by Cambry Johnson, the second baseman for Laconia. One out in the Prescott first. Had to go a long way for that one, but well done by Cambry Johnson. Here's Rory Zulsdorf, first baseman for Prescott. She had 3 hits in that semifinal win against Broadhead, including a triple. First pitch to her from Addie Maurer. Missed for ball one. Rory Zulsdorf, honorable mention all-conference in volleyball as well. You see there's so much of that, the multi-sport players, and up and down any division here.
And that's one thing both coaches really talked about, that they encourage their athletes to play multiple sports. They feel like it just helps build their athleticism. And that way you're still working out and you're competing throughout the year. You're staying in that competitive mindset.
Here comes a 1-1 to Zulsdorf. Another good take, held up on the high one, 2-1. This is the 7th trip to the state softball tournament for Prescott. Their first time since finishing runner-up in 2021. That was the only time they advanced to the state final until today. Bowers just missing that strike zone. Well, now that one was a strike. Excuse me, 2-2.
I thought the same on that one, but she's doing a great job painting that outer half corner.
Yeah, she's working the edges, isn't she?
That's what you have to do against very tough offenses. Try to neutralize their power, specifically going outside and then coming back in, finishing her off with a rise ball.
Swinging strike 3. Zulsdorf is down. 2 away here in the Prescott first. Here comes their catcher, Leah French.
And we mentioned it earlier, but how amazing is it that Addison Maurer is having her father, Neil, call these pitches, and she's executing them so well, the chemistry that they have and trusting one another.
This one's off the end of the bat, foul and out of play. So it's always interesting. Give us a sense of how much you know about an opposing pitcher that you haven't seen this year. Are there scouting reports? Do you get a sense of what they're going to throw and when they're going to throw it?
Well, state's really interesting because you could be playing 2 to 4 type of different teams. So you kind of briefly overview scout, but then really once you get into these games, and it's a tough play right there. I played first base at any time.
Oh, and they're going to say interference. They're going to call the out. We'll finish that thought after the break. But as the ball went into foul territory, the batter, Leah French, ran into the first baseman, Callista Vandenberg, so interference for the third out. Now a message from our local stations. This is your WIAA network station. The 2024 WIAA Softball Championships are brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. One inning complete in our Division III championship game. We have no score. The rain was a little pesky this morning, but looks like things have settled down and hopefully stopped for the rest of the day. We can continue on getting all 5 championship games here at Goodman Diamond in Madison, home of the Wisconsin Badgers in the Big Ten. There's Ella Stewart ready for her second inning of work. Laconia had a couple runners on, first and second, but then Callista Vandenberg struck out to end that first inning and keep the game scoreless. First pitch from Stewart is right there for strike 1. Against the leadoff hitter in the second, Lily Schultz, the left fielder.
And Stewart is somebody who, when you look at their journey to get to stage, she had 40-plus strikeouts in 4 games. Yesterday only had 4. And we mentioned earlier, not a ton of swing and misses from Laconia earlier, so she really wants to utilize her defense, keep spinning that rise ball, and forcing those weak pop-ups.
1 ball, no strikes, the count to Schultz. Hot shot to first. Nice pick there by Rory Zulsdorf. She'll step in the bag and get the first out. Schultz retired, 3 unassisted.
As a hot corner, your #1 job is just to stay low and athletic and those type of hot shots. She does a great job on a very hard infield. I've played on this surface before, specifically when it's rained in the morning like we saw a little bit today, and you have to stay low because the ball's not going to bounce that high.
Sydney played at Northwestern, as we said. So you played on here as a high schooler, you played on here as a collegian. Was it a different feeling both times?
Oh, man, both are so special. I mean, for me to be able to go to state multiple times, win it my senior year, it was kind of crazy because normally Northwestern and Wisconsin switch off who hosts, but we actually only went to Wisconsin once.
Foul.
And it happened to be my senior year, so it was 2023, and my entire family came. I think they filled up half the bleachers just themselves. So it was both were such special moments that I will always cherish, and Wisconsin will always be home for me.
Yeah. But you're kind of lean purple.
Oh, I bleed purple. We can't be confused here.
All right, here is Gwen Westfall. 2 strikes on her. And now 1 and 2. Laconia is located in Rosendale, Wisconsin, village in Fond du Lac County in east central Wisconsin. Been to Rosendale?
I have, actually.
Get a speeding ticket in Rosendale?
I did not, thankfully.
You have? The only ticket I ever got in my life, speeding.
The bitterness behind you saying that city, it makes so much sense now.
Well, and our 2 kids were the 2 kids at the time were in the back, and they're like 5, 6 years old. Hey, Dad.
No.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. You know, it's easy when you get on these Wisconsin back roads and nobody's around you to think you just go a little bit faster.
Really? Yeah. Wow. But they have fun with it in Rosendale. They have T-shirts at the gas station. That's the ticket, Rosendale. I like that. Westfall pops this one up behind the plate. Leah French handles it. 2 out.
You can see the corners come crashing in, but French does a great job just being such a leader, taking control of that out. It's very hard to do when you're a catcher. You know, you're in a squat getting ready to receive the pitch to then have to rip off your helmet and look straight up. It takes a lot of athleticism.
Kaylee Taplin is up next. She's the designated player for Laconia. Thought she checked the swing, but went too far, and that's strike 1. Taplin, one of the senior captains for the Spartans, was willing to do whatever she can to help her team, says head coach Scott Ritzman. They have 3 real strong senior leaders, and that's a pretty good formula typically, to have the players be the leaders and help out the coach trying to lead.
It's huge when you have that, and Coach Ritzma continued to say the X factor for this team is players who don't make it about themselves but about the team, and that's again why you see teams have so much success and go so far.
Swing and a miss for Taplin. 1 and 2. Ella Stewart went 7 innings, 6 hits allowed, an earned run, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts in that semifinal win against Broadhead. She's first team all-conference at the Middle Border Conference. 1-2. Foul. Ella Stewart also says, we've just got to get mad at every team and bring great energy to each game.
I have to love a pitcher. I'd say fire me up with that type of mentality. But you see it in her numbers. I mean, coming into this game, she has 217 strikeouts and only 27 walks. So efficient in just hammering the strike zone.
1-2 again, fouled again. Was that the Sydney Supley way to go? Get mad at every team and then
Get fired up?
I think the red hair speaks for itself. Like, I'm just a naturally fiery, passionate player.
And you know, that's what people remember about you, the red hair, right?
Oh, I thank you. My dad always helps give a little juice, too. He knew how to fire me up before a game.
Is that right? Okay.
In the best of ways. Biggest supporter, that's for sure.
1 and 2 again. Just missed for a ball. I don't know about you, but we have a daughter, and I fought with her for 12 straight years.
Oh, no.
We had the biggest knockdown dragons. How about you guys?
It's when you know you love each other. I will say, I tell everybody, my dad was, you know, the most competitive person, I would say, hardest person on me. But as soon as he knew...
Pulled foul and out of play.
As soon as he knew I was harder on myself than I think anyone else could be, he switched really probably like honestly middle school already, and he became my biggest supporter because he knew I was already going to be the hardest critic to myself, that it was just that unconditional love after a game, whether I went 3 for 3, 0 for 3, and to me, that's what allowed me, I think, to play so free.
There's a lot of dads and daughters out there watching, nodding their heads, going, yep, I know exactly
We've been there. We've been there. Parents, be your daughter's biggest champion. It's going to serve you well.
And to finish the story about my dog, we fought for 12 years, but now we're the greatest of friends, and she's got a couple of grandkids. Everything's great. Ground ball to short. Here's Caden Hillenbrand and throws across. That will do it for Laconia in the second. Still no score. Now a word from your local station. This is your WIAA network station.
Leading off the second for the Prescott Cardinals.
Hey, there's the Lily Schultz fan club. Go Lily, let's go Lily, and swing hard. That sounds like pretty good advice. Swing hard, you might hit it.
She's got a good crew.
All right, here comes Prescott batting in the bottom of the second. The number 3 seed Prescott Cardinals, the home team in this game, in their black uniforms with maroon lettering and the pinstripes for the Cardinals. Here's Megan Richter, the second baseman. That'll even the count at 1-1. Boy, she had that big hit. She drove in all 3 runs in the top of the 7th with a bases clearing double in that semifinal win against Broadhead. That's a memory to last a lifetime.
Especially a player who I feel like hasn't had those opportunities in those big moments, specifically, you know, talking to their team. But when you just stay ready, it's going to find you at some point.
Swing and a miss there, 2-2. And for Prescott to be in this position is maybe a bit of a surprise to some. They lost 4 of their last 6 regular season games, but now they've gotten it back together. But man, that's got to work with their mindset, losing just before the tournament starts.
And Coach Johnson, I mean, this team looked at that sectional final game that they lost last season, and they had 6 returners who felt they were so close to making it to state, had it stripped from them. That's something they carried with them. It motivated them the entire off season, and it's why they're here today.
All right, another foul makes it 2-2 as we begin play here in the bottom of the second inning. Only 1 hit in the game. That was by Laconia. Another foul. That was Aubrey Maurer, singled in the first. He was left on base at the end of the inning. Good look at Megan Richter, second baseman for Prescott. 5'10" senior. Swinging, strike 3. Second strikeout early for Addie Maurer. 1 down.
Maurer is doing a really great job. Is not only painting the corners, but she's working the ball on multiple levels, climbs the ladder upstairs. But what set it up is she's been mixing in off speeds as well. So as a batter, you're really trying to anticipate 2 different speeds that makes you a lot more susceptible to chasing that rise.
Man, you sound like a pitcher. Goodness gracious. You've done this before.
I'm like, put me in. I'm ready to go.
I bet you could throw a couple innings.
Oh, absolutely. Might have to take the nails off.
Well,
get them a little shorter first.
Well, that could make the ball move a little more, too.
Yeah.
You never know.
No, I was still slinging around whenever anyone needs me to pitch to them.
Yeah.
I'm there for them.
Well, you're the ringer that they bring. There's the last swing there. Not even a check swing, a quarter swing cost Caden Hillebrand. And now 1-2. She's the shortstop for Prescott today. Prescott is in Pierce County, right at the confluence of the St. Croix and Mississippi rivers. Hot shot, just foul outside the first base bag.
What I love about Prescott is you talked about some of the adversity that they faced. Again, Coach Johnson talks about how they scored 2 runs in that 4-game loss period. They only had to win 1 out of 2 against their rival that's only 15 minutes from them. They dropped both of them, but they used that 4-game stretch where a lot of teams could have crumbled to motivate them and really rewrite the second half of their season.
Ready for your first Prescott trivia question?
Yes.
Okay, the city of Prescott was named in 1851 for a fur trapper who built a cabin and had a trading post on the site where the city of Prescott now stands. The name of the trapper was Philander.
Oh, man. Prescott.
Yeah, there you go. Philander Prescott. 1 for 1.
I love it.
I know. I shouldn't do that.
I could be an expert in softball history. You know what? I'm learning.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Well, we'll make them a little tougher.
There we go. That Northwestern education.
Yeah, that's really working today. 2-2 pitch, loop to second. Johnson throws. Going to be late. Not a whole lot of pace on that little humpback liner, and that's going to be a base hit for Caden Hillebrand. It wheels down the first base line, and there you see, beats it by a half step.
And Hillebrand did such a great job. She was jammed on that inside pitch, but she was able just to muscle it through, and that's what you have to do. You can't give up on a hit, even though when you feel like you mistimed it.
Here's Ella Stewart. You've seen her work in the circle. This is her first at bat at the plate. Big swing and a miss for Stewart. 231 her average on the year. She has driven in 19.
And Maurer, you can tell she's getting more and more comfortable with that curveball. She's really slinging it across. It's very hard for these righties. They're going to have to start zoning the ball in the outer half if they want to hit that ball breaking so late.
1 out in the inning, runner on first. Foul. Prescott has a bit of a claim to fame. In January, the Prescott School Board approved a video board for the softball field, so they became the first high school in Wisconsin to have a video board at their softball field.
Wow, I love that. Hats off to them.
Fouled again. So that means there are, well, this could be another trivia question. There are 2 places in the state of Wisconsin where the softball field has a video board. One is Prescott.
Here,
Yay.
Wisconsin, Madison.
You're 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
There's Nick Johnson in his 4th season as Prescott's head coach.
So anyone who's listening, let's be number 3. I don't care who it is.
Oh boy,
Let's add
here
number
we
3.
go. The phones are ringing already.
Yeah. Oshkosh North's going to be calling and say, do you want to donate it?
Oh, yeah. Hey, there, Nick Johnson, also the boys basketball coach at Prescott, won a state title as a basketball coach in 2018. He's one of the most decorated athletes in Prescott history, an original inductee into the Prescott Athletic Hall of Fame. All-conference football, basketball, and baseball. Then he had a heck of a career at Ripon College. He's in their Athletic Hall of Fame. This is a little roller to second and nowhere to go for Johnson.
And miscommunication. You could tell Bone, she goes behind the base, almost like she was trying to get the ball as well. At that point, when you have a middle infield crashing, somebody has to cover the base. Prescott doing a good job just hitting the ball up the middle, forcing the defense to have to make plays. Not able to do so yet.
Eddie Maurer a little frustrated coming out of the circle, wondering why the heck we didn't get an out there, but here comes a runner.
And that's
Kennedy Hollins the runner, excuse me.
Those moments it can feel really easy to want to be frustrated, but it's how can you turn around, whether you're a pitcher or you're an infielder, and say, that's on me, I have your back on that next one. The best teams are the ones who have those short mindsets.
They'll give Stewart an infield hit, second hit in the inning. That's when it's fouled off. The new batter is Tally Roth, the designated player for Prescott. Good look at Tally Roth, one of 2 left-handed hitters in the Prescott lineup. One strike pitch coming from Eddie Maurer.
What I enjoy about Ross Stands is you watch the way she keeps the bat so loose in her hand. There's a little bit of movement before the pitch. It's going to allow her to be able to just stay comfortable and hit multiple levels.
Comes up empty on the 1-1. So Maurer a strike away from getting out of, well, excuse me, there's only one out. First and second, the runners. A couple of infield hits. Maurer shakes off one side. Looks over at Dad and gets the next one. Foul.
And right now in the infield, it's constantly talking. Specifically when you have a runner on first and second, if you could get a hard hit ball back to the pitcher, it's how are we looking at third base? Trying to just minimize anyone getting 60 feet away from scoring.
Again, Maurer shaking off pitches. How often did you shake off pitches?
Oh, not a ton.
Yeah.
When you know, the thing with us is we could shake it off, but then we had to have a reason. So I had to make sure my reason was teed up, ready to go.
There's a swinging strike, and down goes Tally Roth, second out of the inning. Second strikeout in the inning.
Right fielder, Prescott.
There's Allie Maurer looking into the dugout. There you go, that tip of the cap was in. Little strike.
Some sign. An important one for sure. She's doing a great job just attacking these hitters. Really, when runners are in scoring position as well, we've seen Prescott, you know, push to get runners on, and it's almost felt like Maurer's elevated her game in those moments.
I think there's a lot of people who casually watch softball. They don't realize how complicated this all is. How much is going on every pitch, and you need everybody on the same page to make it work. Fouled again.
And for me, I always describe softball being like a chess match because I really see it that way. There's so many games within the game. Pitch calling is a whole separate game. The mental side, a whole nother game. Especially when you're a pitcher, you have to be doing all these little things that most people don't know about. Your relationship with the catcher, so much goes into it.
Two-strike pitch coming. And this is Grace Patak. And that's going to be a base hit to left. Here comes the runner rounding third. Throws going to be late. They go to third and safe there too. So Grace Patak, RBI single, scores Hillebrand. And it's Prescott with a 1-0 lead.
What I loved is the second that ball was sent to left field, and it was a rope coming on top of a rise ball. You saw Coach Johnson at third base sending the runner. There was no question in his mind. Even when the ball was in the hands of the left fielder, he wanted to keep putting pressure on the defense and then having another runner over at third. Now you're 60 feet away from your second run.
Grace Patak, RBI single, 1-0 Prescott. Here comes Jeannie Roll, the 9th place hitter. She's the third baseman. Temperatures dropped to 60 degrees. There's the runner going to second, Holland, without any concern from Laconia.
And I came from Oklahoma City where we were in the 90s.
Oh, boy.
This is just a Wisconsin welcome.
Yeah, welcome back. Fouled off, yeah. Went to the College World Series. That was pretty exciting, huh?
It's an unbelievable atmosphere. Any softball fans, if you can put that on your bucket list, you have to make it happen. There's truly nothing else like it. Being able to go there as a fan, to a player, to now covering it. It's been a fun, special, full circle moment.
Little grounder to first. Vandenberg's got it finally, and then threw it over to Cambry Johnson to cover at second. And that'll do it for the second. Now a message from your local station. This is your WIAA network station. That's what they're playing for, the gold trophy. That's a little heavier than you think, right?
Oh, it is, but
that up.
You get extra strength when you have that opportunity to hoist it up.
Well, you got to watch for that point. That can be a little dangerous.
Always safety hazards, yeah.
But the first time you pick it up, it's like, oh. But then you get it.
Special moments. We actually signed the back of ours, the 2019 team, which is really neat. I thought it was a great tradition.
What kind of pen?
A Sharpie.
What color?
Well, I think there was two, actually, black and silver.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go back in the case and check.
It's a dark coat.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these were very important questions. Cambry Johnson, the second baseman, leads off for Laconia. 9-1-2 coming up for the Spartans. Oh, I like that autograph. Did you come up with that?
I cannot claim it.
You can now.
Now I'll claim it.
Nobody's going to remember. Ground ball to short. Tough play for Hillebrand. Then she can't pick it up. So that'll put Johnson on first with nobody out. Would have been a tough play if she handled it cleanly.
We're starting to see a lot more pressure be put on the defense, specifically in the infield. And both coaches emphasized how the defense is going to win championships. And for both of these defenses, it feels like they're a bit on their heels. They're letting the ball play them. It's how could you be aggressive and really go attack those ground balls.
Second hit for Laconia. They try the bunt with the leadoff hitter, Emma Bone, but she fouls it at the plate, so it's strike one. Bone popped out to short to lead off the game for Laconia. Look at Emma Bone. That evens the count 1-1. Laconia was third in their conference, the Flyweight Conference, behind the champion Mayville. Their roster features 3 seniors, 4 juniors, 3 sophomores, and 3 freshmen, so a nice mix of experience and youth for Scott Ritzma's Laconia Spartans. And this is high 2-1. They've won 10 straight as Laconia after a stretch of 6 losses in 9 games in the middle of the season. So another team that recovered from some bumpy waters to make it to state. Here comes the next pitch, checked up, called a strike. 2-2.
Bone is a player who, coming into this tournament, she's hitting right around 400, but what has really impressed me is her eye. She also is one of the leaders in walks, so to be able to have somebody who knows when to take it can be so lethal.
Hot shot to left. Farron near the line has a kick off her glove. It was in foul territory, so it's a foul ball. Boy, she did a nice job to get over there and then just couldn't complete the catch.
And Coach Ritzma is having a word or two with the umpire. I think he's asking him, are you sure? But without a doubt, well, actually, that was a lot closer than I thought. I thought she was pretty far past the line, but that's just about half a step. That could have been a game changer with how far that ball was hit.
You know, I saw it in real time. I thought, man, that's clearly foul.
Yeah.
Then you see the replay, like, well, but the umpire was right on the line, so yeah. 2 strike, 2-2. And that's just foul again. Well, we're wearing out that left field line here. There's Scott Ritzma with that beautiful golden goatee.
And that was thankfully from his team, who basically said, if we make it to state, we want you to dye your hair and dye your goatee. And he's like, oh, look, I'll do whatever it takes. He stayed very committed. However, now they're saying if they win, they want him to do it green. And he's like, I think that's where I draw the line. The blonde was one thing. The green is a little much.
Yeah, about a month ago, the team said, if we make it a state, you got to dye your hair.
And now look at where they are.
Yeah, so last Tuesday, life changed. Hey, don't mess with the streak, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes whatever it takes, as a coach, you know, he's willing to do it.
Boy, is he willing to go green, though? You know what? They want it. I bet he does. Strike 3 called. Down goes Bone with the first out here in inning number 3. Now here's Kendall Klein, the catcher. Another look at that third strike.
And it's interesting, you could see the reaction by French. She had almost pulled it, looking to bring it back.
Oh my goodness.
And watched the runner at first, but she's fired up. I mean, why not take that strike?
Did you have catchers that were that enthusiastic?
I did, and I loved them. I absolutely loved them. I mean, you're staring at somebody's face the entire game. You want them to be as passionate and in it with you. And French has done a great job with that already.
She's into it, tell you that. 1-0 pitch. Oh, and she's still holding it, trying to get the call.
She's working for every single one. You could tell she turned around, had a little conversation with the umpire, probably saying, Blue, where did that miss? Any feedback that French is able to get, she can then deliver it to Stewart.
Boy, French has got a great future in television, doesn't she?
We'll have to have her join us someday.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you never know. Very expressive eyes.
For Stewart, now you're in your first 3-0 count. How can you reset yourself? Go back to his tackling the strikes on something she's done so well so far today.
Ball 4.
Stewart is going to call time on her own. She's going to have French come. French is signaling away to the rest of the infield saying, I got this. Sometimes you need to have just those private conversations between a pitcher and a catcher where you feel like you can just be really open and honest with each other. What do we need in this moment?
Earlier today, Division 5, Pacelli beat Oakfield 4-3. In Division 4, Fall Creek beat Cuba City 7-0. Laconia and Prescott playing in Division 3 now. We'll have Division 2 at about 4 o'clock between Mosinee and Waupun. And then we'll wrap up this championship week at 6:30 or so as Milton and Kenosha Bradford play for the Division 1 championship. And yes, you heard me right. Milton and Kenosha Bradford, as Kaukauna was eliminated by Milton, ending the Galloping Ghosts' 108-game winning streak late last night.
There's one thing I want to say about that winning streak, because this happened when Oklahoma, I believe it was 74-73 game win streak got broke. It can feel very defeating in those moments, but you also have to celebrate the greatness that came with that many wins in a row, to be that consistently on to win that many games. Like, you have to give them so much credit for it. It's a tough ending, but wow, what a performance, multiple years.
And there certainly is pressure, but I would think it'd feel more like responsibility. You don't want to be the ones that it happens to. But boy, what a great program. And yeah, I mean, they're the New York Yankees of high school softball the last 5 years. And, you know, they played with an edge, they played hard, and they won a lot of games. And you have to tip your hat to Kaukauna for a great run.
And with that, I believe pressure is a privilege. And if you want to play at this level and be great, you have to look at pressure that way.
Line drive up the middle, base hit. Here comes the runner around third. That's going to be Cambry Johnson scoring, and Laconia is on the board. We're back to even 1-1. Line drive hit by Addie Maurer to tie it.
We're seeing very aggressive base runners. It's a great piece of hitting and sending it right back up the middle. And then you have Strude who comes firing with the ball at home. And I was very shocked just to see Stewart kind of cut it off very calmly. And it's something that I wonder, did French tell her to do so? Is that a decision she made on her own? Because I'm the advocate. Send it through. Take your chances.
Right. Okay, an active inning for Laconia's offense. First and second now, 1 out, 1 in. And here comes Aubrey Maurer, the cleanup hitter.
She leads the team in all 3 hitting categories: home runs, triples, and doubles.
Both teams now with a run on 3 hits. Prescott has the only 2 errors in the game. Hot shot, pulled foul.
What was really interesting about Aubrey is she was walked 2 times yesterday, so she knew coming into today if there was a situation where a team could walk her, that it would probably happen. However, right now, you don't want to get the bases loaded. It could have a force out, but I would still never put myself in that situation.
So Aubrey Maurer has 8 doubles, 3 homers, or 3 triples, 7 homers, a slugging percentage of .987 on the year. That's who you want up in this spot. Foul back and out of play. 0-2.
You can tell she wants to be in this moment as well. Swinging on the first 2 pitches. Super aggressive right now. She's at the front half of the zone. Her right foot is literally painted on the chalk line.
There you see some of her numbers on the season. Yeah, you see that right. .544 the batting average.
Only as a sophomore, too.
Lifted in the air. Lydia Farron, the left fielder, has it. Runners will have to stay where they are at first and second. Big out there for Ella Stewart. 2 down.
for high schoolers to be able to play on this field, such a phenomenal opportunity. But I also know for a lot of high school teams, they look at this field as feeling really big as a hitter. You look at left field, right field, that's 218. Feels a lot bigger than a lot of stadiums they play in, just being on that college level atmosphere. You don't see as many balls to the wall as you normally do in a high school game at these home stadiums.
Callista Vandenberg is up. Struck out her first time up. RBI opportunity here with 2 outs. 1 strike to count. Watches that one go by for ball 1-1. Well, I think sometimes the commoners estimate or underestimate the largeness, the bigness. You work all year for this, and then all of a sudden it's here, and sometimes your eyes get a little big to start. Let's settle down and try. And Nick Johnson made the point, if you say it's just another game, and it is kind of, but you have to stay with your routine, stay with your preparation, stay with what's worked all year long.
As we mentioned earlier, he knows that from his playing days. It's why he's seen success, whether it's been the men's basketball team he's coaching to win a state title, to now in the softball arena.
Easy to say it, sometimes tough to do it.
Absolutely. He's had women who have just bought in under him.
2-2 the count to Vandenberg. Chop to third. Good play there by Roll, and she'll step on the bag to get the force. And that will do it for the Laconia third inning. Now a word from our local station. This is your WIAA network station. The 2024 WIAA Softball Championships are brought to you by the Wisconsin Education Association Council. WIAA thanks all public school educators giving their all this school year. WIAA, we teach, we inspire. Prescott comes up in the bottom of the third inning. Now a 1-1 game. Cardinals scored at the bottom of the second. Spartans scored in the top of the third. And the top of the order for the Cardinals, Kelsey Sterud, Rory Zulsdorf, Leah French, the scheduled 3 to face Addie Maurer in the circle for Laconia. First pitch rides outside for ball 1. Sterud popped out to second base her first time up.
If I'm Prescott, what I'm doing to eliminate Maurer's curveballs, I'm getting my toes on the chalk. You're seeing her just live on that first base side of the plate.
Kelsey Sterud, a second-team all-conference performer. Prescott in the Middle Border Conference. They were second place in the Middle Border behind the conference champion Ellsworth. Nick Johnson was telling us all they had to do was win 1 against Ellsworth in their doubleheader, and Ellsworth got them twice. So they are the conference champions, and Prescott was second. But Prescott still playing today for the Division III championship.
It's those moments like that when you can turn losses into your defining moments. Those are the true heart of like real champions who are able to just handle that adversity so well.
Count is 3-1 to the leadoff hitter, Kelsey Sterud. In the air, tough play for the right fielder, and a sliding catch by Aubrey Maurer. Boy, that looked like trouble when it left the bat, but Maurer was there to make the grab for the first outs.
And Aubrey is just saying, look, I got your back, to her sister, coming all the way in. Well, looked like it could be blooped in, was able to use that slide, and it helps when the grass has a little bit of rain on it. You get going.
That's a good point. Gonna have to wash the uniform, but, it's all right.
That's a sign that you played hard. That's what I used to say.
To center field, Westfall retreating. Makes the catch just short of the warning track. Oh, that was a dangerous fly ball as well.
You could tell off the bat that just had a different kind of pop than we've seen so far today. It had all of the crowd on their feet. What you're starting to see is, granted, those two are outs, but Prescott is starting to have better at-bats against Maurer.
Boy, our crew's getting some great shots of some reactions on some of the big plays here. Always fun to see that. All right, here's Leah French. popped in the air. And again, right at the net, and look out there, Kendall Pleim, the catcher. Ball kind of got her a little bit after she threw off the helmet. Has a little laugh with home plate umpire Todd Yavs, and now we'll get all our catcher's gear back in action.
I mean, look at that hairdo. First of all, I can't imagine how long that took. Braids and bubbles.
Oh, colorful, too. Up the middle, that's going to be a hit. French gets her first base hit of the day. Clean single up the middle. 2-out base runner for Prescott. We're going to get a runner for French. Waiting for that runner to emerge from the dugout, and here she comes. Number 1, Madison Bloomquist, sophomore.
During this time, Maurer ran all the way from the circle to the dugout, had a word with what I would assume be her father is in the pitching coach. And if there's one adjustment I'd like to see her make right now is having the hitters be more off time. She has a changeup. Go to it. Even if they don't swing at it, that's going to help set up your hard stuff.
Another base hit to left this time for Richter. First and second, 2 out.
Prescott is just getting a feel. The last 3 hitters have all swung on the first pitch, so they're coming into the box with a ton of confidence, looking to do damage early.
We've got to get you invited to Thanksgiving dinner at the Mauers in Rosendale.
I would love to have those conversations.
We'll all just sit back and listen to you guys talk pitching.
You know, we're going to have to make it happen.
All right, here's Caden Hillebrand. Hillebrand singled and scored the first and only Prescott run. Bloomquist, the pinch runner, in scoring position at second. Richter, who singled to left, is at first.
It's almost like Maurer could feel how aggressive Prescott was getting early in the count. You start to see her miss a little bit here early, but before she was just pounding the strike zone.
That one's high, 2-0. A couple of raindrops starting to fall again. Nothing major, but an annoyance to be sure.
She's well prepared. See that towel on the back of her pants does a great job. Just if the rain comes, she's ready to go, can dry off her hand.
And ball 4. Okay, the scoreboard said it was 2-0, but that's a walk. So now the bases are loaded with 2 out. All this happening with 2 down in the inning.
It's a great job by Prescott. They had 2 hard hit outs. You could tell they were getting more and more time. And almost looked like she tried to float in an off speed there, but just misses high. Tried to do something different. And while a pitcher can have a towel, a hitter is not allowed. So you're going to see her try to tuck that all the way into her back pocket. You can't have anything hanging out that could be interference. And it's also just a safety when you're running as an athlete too.
All right, here's Ella Stewart. Ooh, big cut. Called it right back. So if you're Addie Maurer and you all of a sudden with 2 outs, you loaded the bases, how do you slow things down? How do you calm yourself?
It's those deep breaths we talked about earlier. I always like to utilize the full circle. I take a few extra seconds, walk to the back, take a deep breath, and then just really lock in with my catcher because your ball goes where your eyes are.
1 strike pitch, strike 2.
It's a great job, great pitch, especially walking the bases loaded. You could tell she was feeling a little off with her timing to come back on and to throw 2 big strikes. Right now as a hitter, you feel that pressure knowing that it's a pitcher's advantage count.
2 strike pitch from Maurer, swinging, strike 3. She gets out of a bases loaded jam to keep the game 1-1. Now a message from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. The Maulers are always talking pitching. Any time of the day, any situation.
What a relationship between the two. There's nobody who knows you better than your dad, who sat through every single one of your bullpens, your lessons. And in that moment, he knew what she needed with bases loaded, and she capitalized and stood up in such a big way for her team.
Now let's see if the offense can respond after getting off the hook defensively. Still 1-1. And the first swing off the bat of Lily Schultz is fouled back. Prescott now with 5 hits, Laconia with 3. The only 2 errors of the game still by Prescott. And still even at 1.
Games are all about momentum shifts, and if you can try to control it and bring it on your side as much as you possibly can, most of the times you're going to always walk away with a win.
Called strike makes it 0-2.
And this Laconia team, very young, only 2 seniors, so you're going to see a lot of them back. Lily Schultz being a first-year player, already been such a force for them, not only at the plate, but also on the mound. When she had her opportunities, she's 8-2 on the season, and somebody that I know Coach Ritzma is very excited for her future.
Laconia won their sectional final 16-0 in 5 innings over Shoreland Lutheran. That'll give you a little momentum of going to state. In the air to short, Caden Hillenbrand on the edge of the infield dirt makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down in the Laconia 4th. Gwen Westfall. She's the next hitter.
Center fielder Gwen Westfall.
When you have a really good team and you get on that roll and you start thinking, we got something special here. How fun is that?
Oh, there's nothing like it, because you play with so much confidence, and it becomes, doesn't matter who they play, it doesn't matter who's in the other dugout, it's all about you, and that's when teams are so dangerous. I think you're seeing that from both of these teams. Again, they were the lower seeds coming into this tournament, and it didn't matter who they were going up against, whether they had never lost so far this season or only had 1 loss. They came out and were just so focused on themselves.
Westfall fouls it off, so it's 0-2. Simple message there. Rip it. With that gold Spartan logo shining off the front of her helmet. Stewart ready to deliver the 0-2 pitch to Gwen Westfall. Lifted to left. Farron retreats, makes the catch. Ball had a little carry, but Farron played it easily for the second out. Here comes Kaylee Taplin, the designated player.
All of these Laconia players are going up to get that rise ball. That was the best one hit so far. But what are ways they can continue to keep their hands higher and keep their barrel above their hands? That's when they're really going to be able to do damage and start not allowing Stewart to go to a rise ball as much.
Kaylee Taplin swings through the first pitch.
And trust me, that's easier said than done. I have been there with those swings and misses. When you see that ball coming up, it looks so big and easy to hit. The last second just tails up.
Brings back great memories, doesn't it?
Oh, the best memories.
Swinging him. Hey, when you were growing up, was it the Oshkosh North players that you idolized? And you thought, oh gosh, I'd like to be that someday?
Oh, there were some amazing ones. I mean, I think about Lexi Reeds, and also, you know, I just grew up a fan of all of the Oshkosh schools, whether it be Lourdes and West, but also somebody who I was very close with was a Kimberly pitcher, was Megan Kleist. And she went on to Oregon. We both had the same pitching coach for a while there within Mike Roberts, and she was just phenomenal, and I think it got a lot of people to believe that you can be from Wisconsin and go play Power 5, and I'm so thankful I had her who really painted the path. And you know, I knew from day one I wanted to play college, and it took a lot of people who I had to tune out that said you can't be from Oshkosh or a small town and go on and play, because let's face it, you have to get creative when you live in Wisconsin. You have to practice in the abandoned warehouses or the church basements. I've been there, I've done it all.
Wow. 3-1 pitch. That's a strike. And I don't think that's any different today. You look at the young girls in Prescott, you look at the young girls in the Rosendale-Brandon School District, and they're going, wow, they're so cool. I wish that could be me someday, you know, and that's a great tradition.
And it can be you. For anyone listening, if you want it to be you, I absolutely believe it can be you.
Rain is picked up now, and that's ball 4. So Taplin walks with 2 outs. Here comes Cambry Johnson. All right. Well, here's another look at the last pitch.
Second baseman.
It's a good take. It's just a little bit up and in, and you can feel the rain starting to come down. You can see it as well. It always brings on an interesting challenge. The ponchos are coming out, the blankets. People came prepared. That's one thing about Wisconsin. They're going to be prepared for any weather condition.
We thought the rain was over today, but it is not. This is as hard as it's rained by far all day. That one bounced in. Wild pitch will send Taplin to second. Well, you pitched in all kinds of weather, pitching in Wisconsin and northern Illinois. How tough is this rain? I mean, this is real live rain.
It is, and I'm actually surprised there hasn't been any comment on both sides about, are we going to play in this? I have to say, I might be an outlier. I loved pitching in the rain. It's something that my pitching coach at Northwestern knew about me.
Poor batters facing you in the rain, that's a bad idea.
I think it has to be the Washington roots that my mom carried on from me. That has to be it.
Well, you just felt you had the advantage because you're firing this thing at them?
And I think nobody wanted to be out there. And I was like, you know what? My first ever high school softball game, we wore a visor to keep the snow off our face. And Coach Johnson, I'm sure, is having a conversation about the weather condition. The one thing I will say, if you grew up playing softball in Wisconsin, you have a lot of toughness to you. A ton. Because nobody knows what it's like to play high school ball in March, in April, when it's not warm, let's face it.
40 degrees, maybe sleet. And short of lightning, you'll play. There's the last pitch.
She's shaking it out. You got to fake it till you make it sometimes.
Well, there's a line of rain that goes from southeast to, or excuse me, southwest to northeast that's going right through the Madison area right now. So this is going to be a few minutes, it appears. And one thing I'll say about Goodman Diamond, they can take a lot of rain and they can clean it up in a hurry. This one's off the end of the bat. It's crazy English, but Stewart handles it and throws to first. And that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Now a word from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. We can confirm that it is raining, and there's the proof. Fans are still dancing in the stands.
We got softball to play. You can stay dry when you have a state title. That's all I got to say.
You're sitting in the warm, dry press box.
Right, I can talk a little big.
Bouncer over the circle. Good play there by the shortstop, but then she throws it past the first baseman. That was Emma Bone making the play. And the runner will end up at second. That's Tally Roth, the leadoff hitter for Prescott.
Bone had all the right things in her mind. Watch how she comes across the field and is able to make that throw. But the problem is she got so close to first base that she knew she had to throw it hard, but it was just a bit too hard with her spacing.
Here's the runner for Prescott, Lydia Farron. She's the flex player from left field. That's why I was double checking. I said, I think we've had Lydia Farron playing, but she's coming in to run for Tally Roth. And it almost looked like Bone had a little more time than she thought, too. Actually, she gathered herself just a half second. She would have been okay. But an error on the shortstop for Laconia. Here's Brace Patak.
Sometimes those throws come off even bigger than you ever think, and if you would have just held the ball, you'd only have a runner at first, but now you have somebody in scoring position at second with no outs.
The rain has picked up again, as you can see. How in the world do you keep that bat safe to grip?
You have to constantly be keeping your hands dry, and the biggest thing as a pitcher as well is making sure that the softball stays protected. You always want to keep your glove with your palm facing down. Anytime you have a pitcher right now, leaving it exposed to getting wet is when you start to have problems.
Wow.
And now we'll use her towel to try to wipe it off as well. But yeah, it's coming down hard. The umpire's having a conversation.
It's starting to collect a little bit on the infield dirt, and there's the umpires discussing where we're going to go from here. I asked you when you were recruited and how you recruited, how you like the process. You said you were recruited in 6th grade.
It was a crazy time, and I do believe that the NCAA has made the right changes to changed the recruiting to be later, but my process started in 6th grade. I committed to Northwestern my 8th grade year. However, what I will say is I took 15 visits to Evanston before committing. So people would say, you committed probably so early on one trip. I did my research, I did my homework. But wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't change it at all.
Well, you see how heavy the rain is. You see the players have been called off the field now, and we are in a weather delay in the 4th inning. It's a 1-1 game, Laconia and Prescott in the Division III championship. Prescott batting in the bottom of the inning. Tally Roth reached second on an error. And when we resume, no out, runner on second for Prescott. So you've had a few weather delays in your career. What do you do in a weather delay?
You keep it fun. You're playing games. You're keeping it loose. I mean, you're staying locked in and focused, so whenever it ends, you're ready to go. But you also have to keep it light and keep a team together in those moments.
Well, while the rain comes down, a message from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. As you can see, we're in a weather delay at the Division III championship with Laconia and Prescott tied at 1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. We were going to send you back to local programming, and we'll return to Goodman Diamond when the game resumes. So we'll see you back, hopefully, in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Goodman Diamond. Just about through about an hour and 20-minute weather delay, and the rain was coming down. And finally, the decision was made by the umpiring crew to cover the circle and the home plate area. They have these sponges on wheels that soak up water, and had 4 of them going at one time, and fans were having fun through the rain. So were the players. How about that Laconia group, huh?
And Coach Ritzma, I mean, he's dyeing his hair. He's doing the dances. He's committed to keeping his team ready to go. Shout out to our grounds crew, because now it is sunny and beautiful.
Okay, here's the situation in the Division III championship. Prescott scored a run in the 2nd. Laconia answered with a run in the 3rd. That's where we are in the bottom of the 4th. There's nobody out. Prescott will have a runner at second base. And thankfully, we are getting back to action.
And what we were starting to see was Prescott really get on time to Maurer in the circle, specifically with her curveball. How could she really spend that time, when you said an hour or 20, to talk with her father, who is her pitching coach, and kind of reset a game plan to go and attack right now and to limit another run going on the board?
Sidney Supley, Jay Wilson with you, and back to action as Addie Maurer delivers to Grace Patak. And the count's 1-0. Well, you've played through a number of these kind of weather delays. How difficult is it?
You know, weather delays either make or break you. I truly believe it.
Wild pitch going to get the runner to the 3rd.
You can either use it as an advantage, where you're really able to game plan with your team, keep your energy high up. But it's also tough because your body has now been cold and you're expected to pitch. So this wild pitch doesn't really surprise me. It's so hard to have to re-warm.
2-1 the count. And now 3 balls on the batter. Patak. Jeannie Roll is the 3rd baseman in the on-deck circle for Prescott. We think the rain is done. The line that moved through took about an hour. There's a walk to Patak, and so runners at 1st and 3rd with nobody out.
And if I'm Prescott, I'm thinking right away, how long until I send my runner at first base all the way to 2nd to see if either they're going to throw it down and now you're able to walk the runner home from 3rd, or if they do a cutoff play. There's a lot of different ways to handle this situation.
Grace Patak has attempted 1 steal this year and was caught, but they're going to let her go this time, and so that's a free base for Prescott. 2nd and 3rd now, nobody out.
And now would be a really great time. If I'm Laconia and I'm flying behind the dish, I'm calling timeout. I'm talking to Maurer. How can she reset? Because she's having control issues.
You see the infield has been pretty well dried, but there's still, it's still a little muddy, and the outfield, of course, still very wet and slick, and you have to be careful because that ball is going to skid. You have to keep it in front of you as best you can.
And Addison Maurer is starting to show a little bit of emotions towards the dugout after that last pitch, kind of throwing her hands up. There must be something that's not working well, and I wonder, is it the conditions? Is the mound slippy? It's how she's landing. Either way, she's going to take the time and talk it through.
Neil Maurer is the Laconia pitching coach. Addie Maurer is the Laconia pitcher.
You see right now they have 2 softballs out as well. And
Making a move? Well, we're going to get a new pitcher. It looks like Lily Schultz is going to come in from left field. I don't know if Maurer had a bit of an injury or what exactly the situation was, but that's a pretty quick hook. Well, in any case, there you see the new Laconia pitcher, Lily Schultz.
There's a long, loving embrace there, and there definitely is more to the story with Maurer, and something that she was fighting through. Clearly has given it all for her team, and they're taking a moment just to really recognize that. And those are moments as a player. They're never easy, but what I have to say is when you give it all between the lines, you can always keep your head up walking off and know that there's nothing more you could have done in that moment for your team. And clearly she had emptied out her tank for the day.
No question. Okay, we're going to have a break here, and we'll be back from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. Okay, well, we're only a couple of pitches in after the weather delay, and already we've got a big story developing. Addie Maurer out as Laconia's pitcher. Lily Schultz comes in from left field. First baseman Callista Vandenberg goes from first base to left, and Addie Maurer goes from pitcher to first.
You're going to see Lily Schultz. Granted, she's a first-year player, but she's pitching big moments. She's coming into this game 8-2. She's a 1 point, just around a 7 ERA, but what she does well is she throws the ball really hard. However, if there's one concern coming in is she does have a bit of a higher walk count, so she's going to want to look to attack the zone early.
Okay, so Prescott with a great opportunity here. Second and third, nobody out. And here comes Jeannie Roll, the third baseman, the number 9 hitter in the lineup for Prescott's head coach, Nick Johnson.
And talking to Coach Ritzema, he said throughout today he wanted to start with who got him there, being Maurer, but he wasn't afraid to go to Schultz in any moment because he felt like she was able to handle these moments. Granted, now she's in a tough spot. Bases are loaded. We talked about the high walks. Yeah. Right now, what you need is just to throw strikes, because for Prescott, check out this reaction. They are fired up, and they feel the momentum creeping towards their side.
So the bases are loaded. Nobody out. That walk, by the way, statistically, will be charged to Addie Maurer because she started the at-bat. Prescott trying to get the lead. First pitch sails inside on Kelly Sterud, the leadoff hitter in the Prescott lineup. Third time through for the Cardinals.
And if you're Sterud and all these balls, I would be taking till I get a strike.
And there it is.
And if you look left to right, Laconia's infield very in tight, looking to make a play at home.
Lily Schultz on the year, an 8-2 record, a 1.72 earned run average. This one's fisted foul, 1-2 the count. She's pitched 65 innings, allowed only 24 hits, so that's a great ratio there. Walked 41, so she's a little prone to giving free passes. 125 strikeouts again in 65 innings.
And she had a big-time game against Waupun earlier this season. So has been in high-pressure situations, not of late, but throughout the season has that experience.
Kleinman to get out of her crouch to grab that one. 2-2 the count.
It's a big-time catch. Specifically, that ball gets behind her. That's another run, and just like that, Prescott has the lead.
In the air, shortstop Emma Bone grabs it. Runners have to stay at first, second, and third. One out.
One of the best situations you could have had as a pitcher. Goes up and in, nice and tight, able to jam the hitter. It's a great play there, and specifically with how much rain we just got, to avoid having a ball hit in the dirt. It's a great out to have, very effective.
Now here comes Rory Zulsdorf. A .407 hitter on the season. Today, a strikeout and a flyout. Boy, if Lily Schultz can get Laconia out of this one, she can run for mayor of Rosendale.
And then she won't give you a speeding ticket there. That's what it's going to be.
Well, I'll still get the ticket, but maybe she can get me out of it.
No matter what happens, as a first year, though, to have this experience playing on the biggest stage is only going to serve her so well throughout her career. She's handling it with a ton of grace, just nailing that corner.
Yeah, that was a heck of a pitch. Next delivery from Schultz. Swinging strike three, just foul, tipped it into the mid of Kendall Plime. 2 down.
To come in as a first-year player and to make these big pitches. Those beautifully painted on the corner, back-to-back pitches. To be able to throw that same location takes a ton of accuracy, a ton of focus and discipline. And right now, Schultz is the spark that this Laconia team needed in a critical spot.
Here's Leah French, not out of the woods yet. There's a base hit to center. 1 run is in. Here comes the second, and it's going to be a 2-run single for Leah French. And Prescott takes the lead back. It's 3-1.
We've been talking all game about what French is doing behind the dish. Well, now she helps herself out at the plate, takes it right back up where she was given, up the middle. And granted, the outfield is wet. I think that's what caused a little bit more of a lob throw. Not able to get a good grip on it. And Prescott, when they have the ball put in play, they do such a great job being aggressive on the base pass.
And they have a runner for Leah French. That's Madison Bloomquist again. Bloomquist ran for French when she singled back in the third, so a 2-for-3 day for Leah French, but that was a huge hit. Her last time, a 2-run single, 4-3. Check that, it's 3-1 Prescott. 3-1. I was looking at the inning. What am I doing? Been a long week.
And for Laconia right now, how can you limit the damage and not let the inning get any bigger? There's still plenty of opportunities to get 2-3 runs back. But what you want to do is not to let this Prescott lineup get hot.
And here's Megan Richter, who again had that big 3-run hit in the semifinal against Broadhead. That one missed, 1-1. 3 runs, 6 hits now for Prescott, 2 errors. Laconia 1-3-1, their totals in the game. Comes up empty.
Great sequence of pitches, being able to paint the outer half. Granted, it wasn't a strike, but it sets up the opportunity to go back up and in and use that rise ball.
Now Schultz 1 strike away from getting out of it. And a swinging strike 3 and a foul tip. But 2 runs come in for Prescott. They now lead 3-1. Time now for a word from your local station. This is your WIAA network station. The 2024 WIAA Softball Championships are brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance Company. Premiums paid here, stay here to keep Wisconsin strong. A proud sponsor of the WIAA Rural Mutual Insurance Sportsmanship Award for over 50 years. Well, clouds breaking up a little bit. The rain has stopped, and hopefully we're okay for the rest of this Division III championship game and then Division II and I following. Well, Laconia gave up a couple of runs to Prescott, but that messy fourth inning could have been a whole lot worse.
Lily Schultz did a great job coming into a very tough situation and limiting the damage. You're still a 3-1 game. Plenty of opportunities for Laconia to get the bats going here at the back half of the game.
So Ella Stewart back in the circle for Prescott. Let's see how she handles the 1 hour and 17-minute weather delay. Her first pitch rolls in the mud for ball one. This is Emma Bone leading off for Laconia. She's the top of the order, and this will be the third time through for the Spartans' batting order. Strike, 1-1. Laconia started the year playing a couple of games in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee at the Ripken Experience. They played 3 Ohio teams, and they also faced Fall Creek, who just won the Division IV championship earlier today at Goodman Diamond.
And that is so huge, not only being able to play different teams outside of state, but for your chemistry, building it before the season. When I was at Oshkosh North, we always took a trip to actually Florida, and it was great competition, but it was that time all under one roof together as a team that created so many relationships that then you see it shine through when you play and the trust that you build amongst one another.
Did you fly down or get the bus down?
Oh no, I believe we drove, actually, yes. Brutal, yes.
Boy, you talk about bonding.
Yeah.
You've got no choice.
A lot of bonding, and we worked a lot of Packer games also to fundraise, so some good moments. And taking another look at, you know, our nicely new blonde goatee hair that was done in honor for his teams. Laconia said, if we make it to state, that's what you have to do.
This one's pulled foul by Bone. It's going to stay 2-2. So Ella Stewart in the circle pitching for Prescott, having to deal with some of the mud that's collecting in her spikes.
It's always tough as a pitcher how much you need to be able to have the mud off your cleat so it's a free drag when you go. We used to always have popsicle sticks on weather delay to shave off all of the mud on the bottom of your cleat. If I had an extra one, I'd run it down in the field to give it to her.
When was the last time you had a popsicle?
Oh, man.
Right?
It's been a while. With the sun coming out, though, right now.
Right?
Might have to break one open today.
Oh, baby. Let's go. 3-2 now, the count to the hitter, Emma Bone. Laconia batting in the top of the fifth. To center. Kelsey Sterud is right there. First out. Kendall Plime, the catcher, coming up.
And for Laconia, right now, when you feel like you're chasing these 2 runs, it's really easy to want to try to do it all yourself with a big home run swing. But when you look at how they were able to do damage yesterday in the 7th inning, it started with a hit by pitch in air, a fielder's choice, and then that allowed them to get the big hit. So how can they do the little things, just get somebody on base, whether it's a walk, no matter how you get on, and then pass the bat from there, and not just have one player feel like they need to be the hero.
Changeup drops in for a strike, 0-1 to Kendall Plime. Well, Scott Ritzma said his team has worked a lot on team chemistry and mental toughness, especially when we get down. So that's certainly the situation here.
And he's done it at the highest level, coached multiple undefeated state championship teams, so he knows what his players need to be able to make it to these big stages.
And now bright sunshine over Goodman Diamond for at least the moment.
I was telling you earlier, there has to be a rainbow somewhere. And our camera crew's looking for it right now. We're trying.
No, it's somewhere. 2-1 the count to Plime. 2-2.
And Stewart, again, who hasn't had as many strikeouts the last 2 games as she has dominated throughout the season, but doing a great job at just keeping the hitters off time, forcing a lot of pop-ups, ground balls, and it's those outs that are huge when you have a defense that's playing so clean behind her for the most part. We saw a rocky inning for both teams, but besides that, it's been clean softball.
Payoff pitch to Kendall Pleim. Popped up. Foul territory. Rory Zulsdorf says she has it. She does, right in front of the Laconia dugout. Second out. Fifth inning.
It's great communication there from first base to catcher when you have those sky-high fly balls to be able to really talk it through. And you have to be loud. You have to be loud, and you have to listen to your teammate next to you.
You kind of hold your breath until somebody starts shouting, don't you? Because you've seen some pretty good crashes through the years.
And every out right now is just so important.
Okay, here's Addie Maurer, who started the game pitching. And shortly after we came back from the weather delay, came out of the game and moved to first base. But whatever ailment she may have, if she has an ailment, she's able to get into the batter's box and hit.
Maurer is the one player on Laconia who will actually go on to play in college at St. Norbert. Be fun to see her continue her career at the next level. There's nothing like high school, but let me tell you, college is really a special time.
Popped up, foul territory again. Zulsdorf, wow. She was looking down to see where the catcher, French, was. French hadn't hardly left home plate, and then Zulsdorf lost sight of the ball and it fell for a foul. Maybe a little sun looking at it. You saw her peek up.
Yeah, the way she just looked back told me everything I needed to know, that it had to be a sun ball right after we were just complimenting the communication. It looks like just a missed track getting caught.
That's right. Well, we'll see if it hurts Prescott. Foul ball. Boy, you got to deal with a lot of stuff. Muddy cleats, sun coming in and out.
The beauty of an outdoor sport.
Yeah.
You have to be ready for it all.
You know what solve all that is the Goodman Dome.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening anytime soon, but
there is a joy of the unexpected that the sport brings. Maybe that's just me.
1-2 to Maurer, another foul. Did you play an indoor softball game?
I have multiple times, specifically at the Rosemont Dome in Illinois. We definitely would have some of those. We actually played in high school. It was called the Midnight Madness, and you played throughout the night, like into 1, 2, 3 in the morning just to get the games in.
That's cool.
It was great, but your sleep schedule for the rest of the month was awful.
I would imagine. You were young. You could handle it. Well, you're still young, but you know.
Yeah.
Was that hard to get used to, playing inside?
It can be in terms of tracking. I think that's the biggest difference in a lot of, inside your turf. So the ball just bounces a bit differently.
2-2. In the air in the infield. Zulsdorf sees this one and grabs it. And that will do it. On a message from our statewide sponsors, this is your WIAA network station. Wasn't a cloud in the sky for most of the first 2 days of this tournament week. Now we just see a little glimpse of blue as the sun is trying to break through. Everybody's having a good time here at Goodman Diamond. They're seeing a good Division III championship game. Prescott leads Laconia 3-1 as we go to the Prescott bottom of the fifth inning. Caden Hillebrand, Ella Stewart, Tally Roth, the scheduled three to face Lily Schultz, who relieved Addie Maurer in the circle for Laconia last inning.
And I was so impressed how Schultz came in relief. I'm excited to see her now in this moment with bases clear. She's not coming into a tough spot, but can really just attack the hitter.
If you were tuning in to see the scheduled 4 o'clock start of the Division II championship between Mosinee and Waupun, we had an hour and 17-minute weather delay, so we're still in the fifth inning of the Division III championship, but don't worry, it'll be coming up, Division II, as soon as we finish this one. Fly ball center field. When Westfall makes the catch, one out, fifth inning.
And I have to give love to the outfielders. So far, we have seen a very efficient, clean game out there from all sides of the field. There hasn't been much, but when they've needed to, we've seen them have to drop their shoulder and really track down a few balls.
Here comes Ella Stewart. By the way, we have a new state champion to tell you about in girls lacrosse. There's a ground ball first, though, off the glove of Maurer at first. Recovers back in time and gets the throw for the out. That was a roundabout way to get it out, huh?
It's a great communication between Maurer and Johnson, understanding that Maurer went for it. You're the first line of defense. As soon as she couldn't get it, getting back to the bag, and Johnson being in her back pocket, able to finish it off.
So here comes Tally Roth, the designated player. Again, the girls lacrosse champion, first ever. Played in Sun Prairie today. Kettle Moraine Badgers 17. U School of Milwaukee 15. So congratulations to Kettle Moraine Badger, the first ever girls lacrosse champion in the WIAA. The boys lacrosse final is going on right now between Middleton and Neenah. So nice to have lacrosse on board as a sport in the WIAA.
We mentioned when Schultz came in, she is a harder thrower, and right now you can see her really attacking that first base side inside on these lefties for Prescott, and they're just a bit behind.
Roth out of the left-hand batter's box, a 1 strike count to her. Waits on that one and fouls it off third base side.
We talked about how both teams had such an important 7th inning game. So neither one of these teams are going to be comfortable. Even though Prescott, you feel like you have the lead, you understand that Laconia put up 3 runs yesterday in the 7th inning. So you want to keep continuing to grow it as big as you can.
0-2 coming as Schultz tries to finish off Prescott in the inning with the pitch goes wide. Still cool, 61 degrees now after the rain. Not much wind to talk about. They say it's east at 2 miles an hour, but that might be a little generous. Another 1-2 coming to Roth. And another foul.
And it's just getting sawed off on the inner half of the plate. And there's 2 ways you can really handle it as a hitter. You could, 1, either load earlier so that you're set. And 2, you also want to think about hitting that ball about 2 balls further out front of you to be able to send it down that right field line.
As a pitcher, how much did you love when somebody fouled off like 6, 7 pitches?
And then to be able to strike them out?
Then everything's okay, isn't it?
It's the best ending.
Roth strikes out. Now a message from our statewide sponsors. This is your WIAA network station. The 2024 WIAA Softball Championships are brought to you by the Wisconsin DOT. 0 in Wisconsin. Together, we can save lives. This is the 48th annual WIAA State Girls Softball Tournament. It all started in 1976 when the first state tournament was held in Madison. Madison West won the championship, beating Elmwood 27-8 in the title contest. Sidney Supley did not pitch in that one, fortunately. Otherwise, it would have been a much different story. He never gave up 27 in the game, did he?
Oh, no. I would have remembered that one.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. Okay, leading off for Laconia, Aubrey Maurer, the right fielder.
For Laconia, you hate to look at the scoreboard. You have to start thinking, though, we have 6 outs to really work with. So it's going back to not trying to do too much. Right now, if you're Maurer, how can I just find a way to get on base?
And that won't do it. Pop up, handled by Zulsdorf. 1 down. Boy, Zulsdorf's been busy over there at first lately.
And do you see the difference? She has the shades on.
Yeah.
She learned from last inning, getting 3 balls in a row. She said, the sun is not going to beat me anymore.
Well, lots of shades now. Hey, join the club.
We're learning. You couldn't do that in the rain, though. You wouldn't have been able to do that one.
Well, we saw the one Prescott player hitting with glasses on. You get in the rain like that with glasses, that's no good. Okay, here's Callista Vandenberg.
What Stewart has done so well is coming into this, we knew how effective her rise ball would be, but you're just seeing it generate so many pop-ups and foul balls. Laconia not able to get on top of the ball so far.
Boy, look at that pitch with movement that Vandenberg buckled a bit and couldn't even pull the trigger to swing. 0-2. The senior captain, Callista Vandenberg. And she bends the knees, but this time the pitch goes high for a ball.
We mentioned how Maurer is playing on. Well, so is Ella Stewart. She's going to NDSU to pitch. And it's also a very heavy science tech-based school as well. So she can continue her studies there. But her career hasn't been a straight path.
Oh, right.
She's had to absolutely work to get where she is. And I just love that. You know, she broke her collarbone her sophomore season. Then her junior year, she's just trying to get innings and get better on JV. There's a bit of an injury. She gets pulled up, has a few opportunities on varsity.
Strike three.
Right now, you're seeing her just shine in her senior campaign. Somebody who worked so hard for this moment.
Well, we've been watching the reactions of the catcher, Leah French, all day. Let's see what this one is. You got nice white teeth, doesn't she?
We're setting her up for a TV career.
And a nice
we have been all day.
Look at that, her catcher gear all white. Those white teeth, man. That's a good look.
As a pitcher, though, to have your catcher who has a smile that big, who's firing you up, that would just bring extra juice in your veins.
Lily Schultz, the batter, now with 2 out. Schultz today, ground ball to first, unassisted put out, and a pop up to short. 0 for 2. Laconia has but 3 hits off Ella Stewart so far. We're in the 6th.
And Schultz is a player who has some pop in her bat. Not only does she have home run on the year, but she also has a grand slam that was hit in the sectional championship game. Somebody, when she is on time, can really change a ball game.
2-1 is the count to Schultz. In the air again on the infield. Hillebrand looks up into the sun, makes the catch. Down goes Laconia. 1, 2, 3. Now a message from your local station. This is your WIAA network station. All right, Lily Schultz is the pitcher for Laconia. Her job is to keep this game at 3-1 Prescott lead. Give the Spartans a fighting chance at the top of the 7th, because we've seen all week things happen in the top of the 7th. And it's tough to get that last out. Okay, here we go with Prescott. Grace Patak starts off, then Jeannie Roll and Kelsey Sterud. This is a grounder to second, handled easily by Cambry Johnson, and there's 1 out in the Prescott 6th.
And we have all sorts of sunglasses. I don't know if those would be categorized as sports shades in a store, but you know, they're getting the job done.
I think that's a style thing. Man, look at that. Look like headlights on a car. Thought she was able to see the ball, and that's what really counts. Here's Roll. Laconia has one of the 2 perfect games pitched in WIA softball history. Kayla Schwebke beat Michigan 9-0 in 2019. The other no-hitter, perfect game, Ashley Holtz of Oakfield, 2009.
And you know who might get one someday is honestly Lily Schultz. She continues to impress me as such a first-year player, handling this moment so well. We're just watching her get better and better with the more she's throwing. What's even more exciting about that is there's 3 more seasons she has, but she has another one with French behind the plate. And that chemistry and that battery pack to be able to have for multiple years, it's when really special things happen.
Is there a Sydney Supley perfect game we can hear about?
I have thrown one, yes.
Oh, that must have been fun, huh?
It was. It was a great time.
Line drive right back to Schultz at the box, at the circle,
I think what's special about perfect games is, granted, a lot of times the ball is given to a pitcher. And what an athleticism play there by Schultz as well. And those are a lot harder than they look. But perfect games are really credited to entire defense. I mean, it takes everyone doing so many plays well in order to get one.
Top of the order, Kelsey Sterud. When you're pitching a perfect game, you know it?
You always know it. You never talk about it, but you always know it.
And does nobody on the bench talk to you when you're having a perfect game?
I feel like you talk. For me, they would talk to me, but we just wouldn't talk about it. Because at the end of the day, what matters too is the win. You know what? I was a part of a lot of college softball games this year where it felt like there was no hitters and perfect games up until the 7th inning, 2 outs, and then something happened. But as long as you get the win, that's what matters.
1-1 the count to Sterud. 1-2. In the Laconia 7th, bottom third of the order scheduled, Westfall, Taplin, Johnson.
And Prescott is a team we've seen do damage with 2 outs. Can they keep that spark going?
Late swing, got a piece of it, fouled it back. It was a 1-1 tie when we had a 1 hour and 17-minute weather delay. Prescott scored 2 runs in that inning to take the lead, and it stayed 3-1 ever since. This is going to be a base hit to right. It falls in for Kelsey Sterud. 2-out hit. Prescott would love to add on here and have a little more cushion heading into the 7th.
A great piece of hitting by Sterud, just taking a ball in the outside corner, sending it opposite field, not trying to do too much, just hitting it on a line. And this Prescott team has been so dangerous because they don't quit with 2 outs.
Rory Zulsdorf steps in. 407 her batting average on the season. Tough day today, a couple of strikeouts and a fly out. Foul. Prescott trying to get its 21st win of the season. Again, they've only been to the state softball finals twice. They finished 2nd in 2021. They are tantalizingly close to the school's first girls softball championship in Division III. Fouled again.
Being the first, there's something that's so special about it. It's not only a celebration for yourself, for your team, your coaching staff, but for your entire city, your entire high school. And that's what I love about high school sports, is it keeps you coming back together, keeps you so bonded with the people you played with, because you know you made history.
2 strikes the count on the batter's Rory Zulsdorf. And the runner goes to second, and Klein did a good job to keep the ball in front of her. Really didn't have a chance to get the speedy Kelsey Sterud, who steals second.
Just like that, Prescott sets them up into another great position, a great jump off first base, and even a runner in scoring position with 2 outs.
So Kelsey Sterud steals second. There you see her in scoring position now with a 1-2 count and 2 outs in the 6th. Zulsdorf hits it high into left field, and that's going to be a catch by Callista Vandenberg. And we are going to the top of the 7th. Prescott trying to close it out. Now a message from your local station. This is your WIAA network station. There's the Waupun team warming up. And again, an hour and 17-minute weather delay for this one, so we're still competing in Division III. As soon as they're done, that Division II group's going to come in. That's going to be a big crowd for 2 very popular teams, Mosinee and Waupun. Okay, here we go. Laconia in the 7th, down 2. Gwen Westfall, center fielder, leading off. To left field. Lydia Farron says she has it. She does. 1 out.
For Laconia, how can you be talking to each other after at bat? not do the same thing over and over, which is generate a lot of those pop-ups, but just do something different. Try to tomahawk a ball, get on top of it, put the ball in play, down and hard, give yourself a chance to beat it out.
Here's Kaylee Taplin, the designated player. Looks at strike at the top of the zone, 0-1.
And Stewart is doing such a great job at just keeping her composure right now because she knows what's ahead. She can feel it, but just really staying focused of winning pitch by pitch.
Taplin is grounded to short and walked. Pulls this one foul, and she's quickly down on the count, 0-2.
And this is the team who had a lot of magic in the 7th yesterday.
Cambry Johnson is scheduled to hit next, but we see Kaylin Lemke, a sophomore catcher, in the on-deck circle. Down goes Taplin, strike 3. 2 down in the 7th.
And the strikeout game has not been Stewart's MO today, but she's just been so effective in getting those outs, generating pop-ups, that then the strikeout is coming. What a special moment there by Coach Ritzma, taking an extra second with his pinch hitter coming in.
So here is Kaylin Lemke, 257 hitter on the season. She does have 17 runs batted in, so she's made those 18 hits very valuable with 17 RBI. Her job is to get on base, keep the line moving. Strike 1.
We spoke to Coach Ritzma earlier, and he said, at the end of the day, whether it's silver or gold, I am so proud of the way this team competed.
That is a looper to short. Hillebrand has it, and the Prescott Cardinals have won the Division III State Softball Championship.
History being made on Goodman Diamond. There is nothing more special than this moment. Coach Johnson celebrates the rest of his staff. What a year it's been for him, for a basketball men's state championship to now the first ever women's softball. You have to hand it off to Stewart, and the rest of her lineup came back from this rain delay and put on 2 crucial runs to secure the win.
Boy, that's a proud head coach, isn't it? That smile's going to be on his face for a long, long time. The wait is over for Prescott. 7th trip to state. Runner-up in 2021. This time, the Cardinals will get the gold trophy.
It's easy to feel emotional just watching this. This is a moment of time that these women are going to remember forever. Their families are going to remember forever. It's so special to see a team come together that a lot of people counted out. They had to fight and claw their way to even make it to the state tournament, and when they did so, they were able to just really bet on themselves and believe in themselves.
Well, it's time now for your Wisconsin DOT play of the game, and here's the big hit in the game. That's that 2-run single that brought home what proved to be the winning runs as Leah French drove home a couple of Prescott Cardinals. 3 won the final.
And it was done with 2 outs, which was the MO by Prescott all day long today. So tough when their backs were against the wall.
All right, Prescott's head coach, Nick Johnson, joins us on the field. Nick, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you, yep.
All right. So you have this big, long weather delay. You come out of it. I'm guessing you're wondering what your team's going to be like. They look pretty good getting those 2 runs and winning the game.
Well, you know, we load the bases with nobody out. And, you know, they get the first 2 batters out. Then Leah, our catcher, comes up, and then we couldn't leave him stranded there. We just couldn't do it. And Leah comes up and gets that monster hit. And, you know, the rest is history. But, yeah, huge. I mean, just a battle. Just a battle.
Coach, what a special year this has been for you, from the basketball to the softball side. But what I love the most is we talked about the journey not only of you, but Stewart in the circle. She didn't get to the strikeouts, but she is a player who has grinded her way through, was so effective tonight, forcing so many outs. What can you just say about her journey and then watching her finish it off with the championship?
It's just incredible, her career, and we talked earlier about, you know, she waited behind a very good pitcher the last 3 years, and she was patient, and, you know, we knew she was going to be special this year. I don't know if we knew she was going to be this special. She kept us in every game. I mean, again, and keep a team like that to 3 hits to 1 run. She just battles, and I'm just so proud of her. I'm proud of them all, but, you know, Ella, again, what a special moment for her.
Coach, you know the routine. Go get the gold trophy and hold it up above your head.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Nick Johnson, head coach of the state champions, the Prescott Cardinals. Now let's get to the award ceremony for both teams with our public address announcer here at Goodman Diamond.
Aubrey Mauer. Addison Mauer. Allison Schaefer. Gwen Westfall. Lily Schultz. Callista Vanderberg. Camry Johnson. Haley Taplin. Kendall Clyde. Megan Merkel. Emma Bone. Kaylin Lemke. And Allison Wersinski. Will Coach Scott Ritzma please come forward to receive the trophy for the runner-up, Laconia Spartans. Now we ask each player to come forward as their name is read to receive their individual medal from the 2024 WIAA Division III State Champion, Prescott Cardinals. Madison Blomquist. Lydia Farron. Maria Mercor. Kelsey Seru. Hidden Hillebrand. Megan Richter. Rory Zulsdorf. Leah French. Gabriella Matzik. Kennedy Hollow. Hannah Schummer. Tally Roth. Grace Patak. Isabel Tho. Roll. Ella Stewart. And Ashley Keller. Will Coach Nick Johnson please come forward to receive the trophy for the champion, Prescott Cardinals.
Yep. All right. Congratulations to Prescott. They finished the year 21-8. Laconia ends their season second place, 21-9. You've lived it, Sydney. No feeling like it when you can hold that gold trophy.
Oh, it's bringing back all the memories, and both teams just absolutely played their heart out. So much to be proud of. Their storylines this season have been incredible. Ella Stewart, 107 pitches on the day. She threw 6 pitches, and all were strikes in the 7th. What a competitor. What a journey for her to finish at the very top of the mountain.
Prescott, 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. Laconia, 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error. The Prescott Cardinals, first time state softball champions. Don't forget, in a little bit, right here, Division II championship game. Bill Brokey, Shane Sparks, and we along with Mosini and Waupun. Thanks for joining us for our great Rush Media crew. Sydney Sutley, Jay Wilson, thanks for being with us. Final score again, Division III championship, Prescott 3 and Laconia 1.